Garlic is as good as 10 mothers. Welcome back to Good News Next Week, everybody. I'm James Evan Pilato from MediaMonarchy.com. We've got that story plus other old wisdom dressed up as new news on this episode. But our first very obvious story comes via the UK Express and was submitted to us on Twitter via our newest subscriber to Media Monarchy, at Ray Vahey. Study shows making love wards off dementia. Getting frisky between the sheets could benefit your brain health, according to a Coventry University study. Older men, and it's not just all older men in this study, but it's who they focus on, older men who enjoyed regular lovemaking showed signs of a healthier brain. In particular, they were able to recall lists and recognize patterns. The research team quizzed 6,800 people aged 50 to 89 from all across England. They were asked about their sex lives and a set number of mental tests. Participants were played a list of 10 words and asked to recount them after 5 minutes. They were also given a number sequence with one number out of place and asked to correct the pattern. Men who had a better sex life demonstrated better cognitive function. The men who were sexually active scored 23% higher on the word test and 3% higher on the number puzzles. But it wasn't just the men who benefited from a healthy sex life. Sexually active women also scored higher on the tests. Researchers believe sex hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, which are linked to the part of the brain responsible for reward, could help cognitive function. This is just one of the many studies suggesting lifestyle factors play a key role in preventing dementia. They said, quote, "The findings have implications for the promotion of sexual counseling in healthcare settings, where maintaining a healthy sex life in older age could be instrumental in improving cognitive function and well-being." This study was published in the journal Age and Aging, and we do have links to the actual studies with the abstracts and the PDFs, and like everything we say and play on these episodes, it's all in the show notes. Our cover story this week takes its title from a 1980 documentary, Garlic is as Good as 10 Mothers, but the real headline is, Onion and Garlic Kill Infections. There's no need for drugs. This story via the BBC and at Neon Nettle. Scientists have recently discovered that a 9th century Anglo-Saxon remedy for eye infections, which uses simple ingredients such as raw onion and garlic, is just as effective, if not more so, than modern-day expensive pharmaceutical drug treatments. The 1,000-year-old treatment, which uses nothing more than onion and some cloves of garlic, is able to kill a range of antibiotic-resistant superbugs, including MRSA, MRSA. So the BBC reports their findings will be presented at a national microbiology conference, and the remedy was found in Bald's Leech Book, an old English manuscript containing instructions on various treatments held in the British Library. Anglo-Saxon expert Dr. Christina Lee from the University of Nottingham translated the recipe for an eye salve which included garlic, onion or leeks, wine, and cow bile. Experts from the university's microbiology team recreated the remedy and then tested it on large cultures of MRSA. Dr. Freya Harrison said the team thought the eye salve might show a small amount of antibiotic activity, but we were absolutely blown away by just how effective the combination of ingredients was, she said. She said there are many similar medieval books with treatments for what appear to be bacterial infections. She said this could suggest people were carrying out detailed scientific studies centuries before bacteria were even discovered. The team's findings will be presented, as noted, at the annual conference for the Society of General Microbiology coming up in Birmingham, and the ingredients for this eye salve, with the amounts and everything, the recipe, are in the article as well. So this is a pretty fundamental thing here, but we're essentially coming back to what we used to know for generations and centuries, and in a lot of ways we're realizing, oh, the answers are all in nature. We use a lot of garlic here at our place, sometimes half a dozen cloves a day. It's a very fundamental thing. Start using and start growing garlic yourself. That is a Food World Order Good News Next Week must. And now our final story on this week's very simple, very fundamental episode of Good News Next Week via activist post, Stop the Presses. Study shows marijuana safer than cigarettes and alcohol. With the battle for the legalization of marijuana being considered one of the more prevalent issues in today's society, it's upon scientists and researchers to now look deeper into the chemical makeup of marijuana and indicate whether smoking marijuana yields less dangerous side effects than consuming alcohol. In an article from just about 1 year ago from NBC, marijuana is grouped first among 9 other drugs including heroin and hallucinogens and was considered the safest, of course, by a landslide.